Hey there, YouTube. This is Derek Murphy of Creativity. A lot of people have been asking me about the best writing software for producing and publishing a book, maybe even book marketing. And there's a lot of deals going on for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So if you aren't on my email list, you might have missed this blog post where I list some of the deals that I've found. I'm also got a couple of deals on some of my own courses and programs for publishing and writing. So I'm going to dive into some of the software that I think you might want to pick up now because there's some savings going on that won't be available later. So I do have a really big list of the best writing software deals for authors that I will link to down below, but this is kind of my quick summary that's going out tonight for last minute Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals. It's actually Tuesday in Taiwan, so I'm a little late sending this out, but I want to make sure that you got this information even if you're not following me by email. So the first one is Scribble for writing, and you may not be familiar with that software because it's actually something pretty new that I made a video about maybe a month ago. I've added some links in my blog post. It basically looks like this. This is sort of like a Scrivener replacement. A lot of authors are more familiar with and more comfortable with Scrivener, but Scrivener is going on a decade or maybe more years old. It's a solid program. A lot of people really like it. I personally never really got into it. This is a little bit of a modernized version of a writing tool that allows you to stay organized, keep all of your plots and your characters and things, outlined and organized well. The reason I like it is because it's based on my 24 chapter outline, which if you're not familiar with, if you go up here in the menu and go to the 24 chapter outline, this is something I put together after getting my PhD in literature and writing a couple dozen novels. It took a lot of work. You're probably familiar with something similar to this, maybe Save the Cat or another writing outline, but mine is the only one that really fills in all the stuff that happens in the middle and also has these major inciting incidents, which I divide into external and internal drama or conflict. So this is all free, and I've got a lot of videos on YouTube walking through this whole outline and how it works. And there are a couple, I've got templates for Scrivener and for Plotter where you can just plug this in. But Scribble has sort of used my 24 chapter plot outline as sort of a basic template so that you can get started organizing, crafting, writing your book in the strongest way possible. It's a little bit more like maybe one of the older screenwriting software that I used to use when I started out writing novels, where it just gives you some more support so that you kind of are writing in the right direction, whether you're a pantser or a plotter. It guides you to a more successful novel with less work. But it's got a lot of cool features and tools. It's worth checking out. I think there's a 1 week free trial, and then you can subscribe if you want to. The next one is Prowritingaid for editing. And I believe what's going on is a 50% lifetime deal. So as opposed to Grammarly, which I think is a monthly fee, I've actually run tests with Grammarly and Prowritingaid. They're both basically editing softwares. And I found that Grammarly finds more typos for me. So if I'm just looking for like proofreading and typos, I prefer Grammarly. Although I kind of hate the new Grammarly system is a Microsoft Windows pop-up that basically pops up no matter what you're doing on every software or every website, and it allows you to do generative AI or proofreading and editing stuff. But I don't love it everywhere. I just like the simple Microsoft Word plugin for Grammarly. I use that for proofreading before I publish. Prowritingaid is a little bit more powerful, so it's got some more features that allow you to do a lot more with rephrasing and style suggestions. They both Grammarly and Prowritingaid have added a lot of AI tools or generative tools, which I think is going to become more and more common. But this is kind of just the best deal, 50% off lifetime. That's probably what you want to pick up. That's what most authors recommend and end up using. I will also mention PseudoWrite, which is pretty amazing if you're more interested in writing software that maybe leans a little bit heavier into the AI generative stuff. It's got a storyboard where you can kind of write an entire book with AI. You need a lot of prompts with all the AI tools. It all really depends on knowing what you're doing and the experience to write the prompts that give you the best possible quality. I know a lot of people are skeptical of whether AI will ever be as good or good enough compared to a real human writer, but it's already very impressive, and especially for editing or revising, I think it's worth checking out. Quillbot is also very useful for proofreading, where I can just put in like a whole chapter and it will just fix all my typos, as opposed to Grammarly, where I have to go manually down the list and approve or reject every suggestion. And also Jasper is really good, but more probably for the nonfiction stuff. And then if you haven't played around with Ghost the Writer, this is something I put together a while ago. It's more of a novelty where I can choose a different famous author and write in their style, but it's got a pretty powerful revise panel where I can put in some text and then I can choose what I want it to do. So I can rewrite it in a different style, or I can even do present tense to past tense, first person to third person, show don't tell. So there's these really powerful options because I added really powerful prompts on the back end. However, this is sort of like something I'm playing with. I think there's probably better tools out there, possibly, although when I update Ghostwriter a little bit and add in ChatGPT 4 and some of the technology is basically going forward so quickly that, you know, this that I built maybe a year ago is already a little bit outdated, but it's also really easy to update. And if I do update it, because my prompts are better, it might be more effective than just using ChatGPT or something like that. The next software deal for authors is Vellum. If you're not familiar with Vellum, Vellum is a Mac-based book formatting program. It works really, really well, and now it's got some new features that allow you to do like full page image spreads, where if you've ever seen those, like the first page of the chapter has a full image. Does some really cool stuff. This you can do in Microsoft Word. I've actually built, you know, tons of resources. And this site, which is DIY book formats, I've got a lot of different sites for stuff for authors because I like building things. But these are Word or InDesign templates, and they work pretty well. You know, and they're pretty good because I'm a book designer. A lot of people who offer templates aren't really book designers. And I wanted to make it easier for people to format your own books, even if you're dealing with Microsoft Word, which is totally possible, but there are better solutions out there. And the two are really Atticus and Vellum. Atticus is a newer one by Dave of Kindlepreneur, which is pretty good and it works on PC. Vellum is a Mac-based software, so it's sort of a pain if you have a PC desktop or Windows, but you can use something that's called Mac in Cloud. So I basically like rent an online Macintosh server. I'm on a PC on a Windows laptop because I like those better, but I still use Vellum because it works so well and it looks so good. It's just much easier to do than any other option. And I have to log into like a Mac on PC program. It's a little weird window just to access Vellum and format my books, and then I have to, like, you know, move everything between Dropbox to get it back to my real computer. And even though that's all a pain in the ass, it's still just such a good program. Vellum doesn't usually discount like at all, but they're discounting 30% off right now. So that's probably a good time to pick up the software. Even if you only publish like a few books a year, it's probably worth the investment. And the last one is DIYcovers for book design. Book design has always been sort of an issue because, you know, it's very, very important if you're publishing a book to make sure you have the best possible cover, but not all authors can afford a professional book designer. So there are pre-made templates that you can buy that are a little bit cheaper, but I've never really seen a very good online book design tool. So I've been trying to build one for like going on a decade. And so this is my other site, DIYbookcovers.com, where I have book cover templates in Microsoft Word, which is sort of weird because, you know, Microsoft Word is not a design program, but it has allowed a whole lot of authors to be able to create a cover without any design experience or software that's good enough, basically. But what I've been working on and what I'm kind of excited about that I've kind of just updated this site a little bit is I have an online graphic design tool that I've been building for a long time. And so now I have all of these templates, these are just some sample templates that I put up that people can play with in a few different genres. And if you click on one of these buttons, let's see if it'll, fingers crossed, work. It should work and it'll open up. Yeah, see, it's a little jumbled. I'm still working on some things. Here's one that worked a little bit better. There's still, it's adding a little space in the text, which is something that I'll fix and then redo these templates. But the idea is it's basically like Photoshop, where I can have blended layers. I can have different images. I can have text and fonts and typography with text effects. It's got a lot of stuff that no other online program has. So it's a lot more powerful than what's currently available. I can even switch into dark mode, which is what I prefer. Over here, there's some templates. Um, and then, like I mentioned, there's probably like 20 or 30 free templates to play around with. And then I'm going to be making a whole bunch of new templates once I get, the final details sorted out. And I've basically finished about 100 templates for nonfiction already. So I'm just preparing to kind of make sure that's all working. And then as a member, you'd be able to log in and see all the templates that you want and just click any of these templates, open it up, change the text, change the background, and have a pretty decent book cover, without downloading anything, without any fancy software. I hope this is going to be really useful for authors. And like I mentioned, this tool, like the online tool, is totally free. You can just go on and play with it. There's a limited amount of free templates you can play with, but I want to keep a lot of the stuff I do is always, free for the general public. And then you can choose to upgrade for extra templates or extra support or whatever. So I do hope soonish I'll finish up that tool and all the templates, and it's going to be working pretty well. And then I'll raise all the prices and probably divide it up into genre-based packages. So you can buy like one genre of 20 or 50 or 100 templates. But in the meantime, since it's not quite finished yet, here's some of the deals that I'm personally offering for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And I'm going to skip down to this one, which is Self-Publishing Basics and Book Design Mastery. This is sort of like a back-end grandfathered package where you get all the formatting templates, all the book cover templates that I've done in Microsoft Word, and you'll get access to all of the new stuff that I'm in the process of making. So even though it's not quite perfect, it's not quite finished, you get in now and save a lot of money from when it is finished and everything's working well. Then I'll just have the normal default prices where you'll pay more and get less. So if you want to, you can sign up now for $37 and get a lot more stuff and also have like lifetime access to all the new stuff that I've made. Also, I mentioned earlier the writing. I do a lot of different things. I've been a book designer. I've also been an editor and a writing coach, and I've read a lot of books. I've got a lot of books and courses about writing specifically. So this is a little package of, well, it's not even a little because I tend to talk a lot. So this is probably like 30 plus hours of tutorials that go pretty deep into all the things you would need to learn how to self-edit or learn how to write and structure or plot and outline, characterization, dramatic conflict and tension. There's a lot of stuff that most authors spend years learning that I personally spent, 2 decades learning, that I've tried to communicate and teach in the most effective way for newer writers. So this is sort of like 3 courses. I think there's a couple on fiction and a couple on nonfiction and memoir. And then I also have a lot of stuff on book marketing. Years ago, you can see over here, I've got Book Marketing is Dead, which is one of my early books. It's got probably 500 reviews, and it's free on Amazon. I have some other books on marketing, including Guerrilla Publishing. And my main course down here, Guerrilla Publishing, is the only one where currently you can get, personal help and feedback from me. But I also recently tried to make sort of a lighter version, which is the 21-day author platform that I've sold as a pre-order special, but it's never really been finished before. It's basically finished now, and for Black Friday, I'm discounting it to only $37, which is a pretty significant discount. And the only difference is basically you get access to all of the content, and there's a lot of content that'll help you to create an author platform from scratch in 3 weeks. just, social media, email list building, websites, advertising, marketing, all the things that you need to learn about marketing and promoting your books. Um, it's pretty useful. It's pretty good. You just won't get personal feedback from me in the way that you would with the full price program or some of my other programs. But for 37 bucks, it's usually, 197 or 297. That's a pretty good deal. All these deals are good for, maybe another 24 hours, maybe 48 hours. I'm not very good with my, setting timers and being organized and knowing what day it is and stuff. So these will probably be um, available a little bit longer than they should, which is good for you because I'm posting this video a little bit late. Anyway, if you're interested in last minute Black Friday, Cyber Monday software deals for authors and writers, I'll leave this link down below. It looks like this. You can click over to this page and check out all the different deals. There's also a really big list on Kindlepreneur. There's more tools here that I didn't even mention, but if you go down far enough, here's a link to Kindlepreneur's list of deals. They have a lot more things that they're offering. I kind of only focus on, the big stuff that I think most authors are going to need, but there's a lot more stuff available. But like I mentioned, it's sort of, it's a weekend deal. So by Wednesday or so, most of these deals probably won't be available anymore. Feel free to grab what you can before the deals go away. I hope they're really useful. Let me know in the comments if you found any other good deals or if you have any questions about writing software for authors. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.